Hi guys, this is Rena and today I'm doing another book review. This book is called 37 Seconds. It says Dying Reveal Heaven's Help, which I'll explain. I know you guys can see the little blip there on the front, but I'm going to explain obviously more about what this book is about and why I thought it was so amazing. I really personally connected a lot with this book, and I will tell you guys more about my own experience later on in this review. I first want to get to most important what this book is about and why I thought it was so great, and then I'll tell you guys why I connected with it. But I did have my own personal experience having a near-death experience, so I really related with a lot of what was said in the book and a lot of what Stephanie had felt and went through. But anyways, it says, the day my son was born, I died. I had premonitions it was going to happen, but no one believed me. Even more unbelievable is what I would see when I flatlined for 37 seconds. So it is pretty incredible what she actually is able to go back and see. But first I just want to start with like the beginning of the book. I really wanted to just mention too that I really love the artwork on the book cover. So the book starts off just telling us like about the year previous and sort of like a few background information things. And she had married very young in her 20s, which is pretty young. You know, you're just sort of starting out your own life and figuring out what you want at that age. So it unfortunately didn't last. And then after that, she never really had a desire to get married again or to even have children until she met her current husband, Jonathan. And they met through mutual friends, it says. And they almost immediately fell in love, and then a few short months after that, they had eloped. They then later mentioned that they did have like a proper sort of wedding party or something with family. And it also mentions that like previously, years ago when she was younger, went to a psychic, and this woman had told her that she was going to die young, and she didn't believe her, you know, because that's something crazy. Someone tells you like, oh, you're gonna die, you're like, yeah, okay, like how would you know that? So she didn't really believe her, so she didn't ask any questions about anything, like any future things, like how she would die or anything like that. And then 22 years later, while she's pregnant with their son Jacob, she starts having these really graphic and horrifying visions or premonitions of dying while she gives birth to her son, which is awful. And she's like, while she's grocery shopping one day with her daughter, I believe, she has another vision that this time it's of her funeral, and you know, she sort of sees like herself being in the casket and what, you know, the funeral in the church looked like, and she was seeing her grieving husband and child. She has a stepdaughter. Her husband Jonathan had a daughter from previous relationship, so she was seeing, you know, her husband and her child and her stepchild grieving and sort of being at her funeral, which I can only imagine is horrible to see your loved ones go through something like that and not be able to just do anything about it or prevent the inevitable or anything like that. So then she starts having these premonitions regularly. So being a pretty religious woman, and being Jewish, which is her faith and what she believes, she goes to her rabbi at her the church that I would presume that she goes to, and he instructed her to take her husband to a popular rabbi, his burial site, and to have him pray. So she does, and he sort of writes a prayer for their baby, even though in all these premonitions that she's had, she never sees anything happening to the baby, thankfully. but he just figures, like, just in case, I have to pray for my son because that's my child. And they don't tell you that until later, that his actual prayer was not for her, it was for their son. But I mean, I could understand, you're becoming a father again, and your wife is having all these awful things that she keeps saying are going to happen, and you're just like, what can I do sort of to protect my family and to protect my child? You pray, or at least that's what they did. So she has these fears that this is gonna really happen, and she feels this, and she feels what she's seeing while she's seeing it in her premonitions. So she starts reaching out to some specialists, like an oncologist and an anesthesiologist and stuff, and sort of tries to, like, get things in the works in case something does go wrong. And she thankfully talks to a woman who actually believes her, and she later says that she doesn't know why she believed that what Stephanie was saying was true. She just sort of had, like, this feeling. So she flagged her file so that they could set up a plan B and get extra supplies for her, and blood and stuff for her rare blood type, which is O negative, in case you guys want to know. So, just to set this up for her C-section, because she was due to have a C-section because she had a condition called placenta previa. So she's seeing these images and she's feeling the horror of the upcoming events. She starts writing goodbye letters to her family and her close friends. And she doesn't end up actually finishing the letters because she feels like if she finishes them, then this is definitely for sure going to happen, and she doesn't want to leave her family that way, so she doesn't end up finishing her letters. And then while her husband is away at a meeting related to his job, she's frantic and terrified, obviously, as anyone would be, as she goes into labor. Because not only is it awful that her husband isn't even there with her as this happens, she's thinking, like, well, I've been seeing what's going to happen and how horrible it's going to be that I'm going to die when I give birth, and now I'm about to give birth, which means I'm about to die and not even meet my son or ever see my children or my husband again. So her husband rushes to catch a flight, obviously, to be there for the birth of their son, and also to be there, obviously, in case anything happens with her. And during her C-section, a extremely rare complication arises. So what happens is she has an amniotic fluid embolism, which causes her to have a seizure or causes her heart to stop, and she flatlines, meaning her heart stops, which clinically makes her dead. And the reason why the book is called 37 Seconds is because she flatlined for 37 seconds. And they rush to resuscitate her. Thankfully, they do actually resuscitate her. And she's not dead, but she is in really bad condition. I mean, she has tons of problems, and most people that have ever had AFE don't make it out, or if they do, they're pretty much brain dead. They have a lot of neurological problems, and they're pretty much in a vegetative state. So they, of course, her husband fears the worst, thinking like, oh my god, this awful thing happened, and now, if she does survive, she's just pretty much going to be in a vegetative state, and she's not going to be able to, be truly who she was. So, they put her in a medically induced coma, and they give her lots of blood to help with all the blood loss that she's having, and some antibiotics just to make sure she doesn't probably have any infections, and lots of fluids and different medicines to treat all the issues that she was having. And since her bleeding hadn't stopped, they had performed a hysterectomy, and she had had a vision or a premonition about having needed a hysterectomy, and they had said, like, most people that have placenta previa never get this other condition, and you don't need to worry about it. You're not going to have, you know, a hysterectomy. But she does end up having to have one. So eventually, after 6 days in a coma, Stephanie finally wakes up. She spends the next several weeks still hooked up to a lot of machines and receiving dialysis. She's really still struggling with doing things on her own. Like, she's sort of felt really depressed and awful about everything that was going on. You know, she couldn't even get up and go to the bathroom by herself. She couldn't walk. She wasn't hungry. She couldn't eat. Like, all these normal things that we do every day, she wasn't even able to do them, which made her feel even more worse and sort of put her in a depression. I related a lot with a lot of her hospital stay and stuff that happened to her, because like I mentioned before, I had my own near-death experience 3 years ago. And I'll tell you guys just briefly what happened, and then I'll get back to the story, because I know that's why you guys are watching the videos, to hear about the story. But I had been on vacation, and I started not feeling really well. I had previously had a short history at that point with having kidney stones, so I just thought, like, I'm in a lot of pain. It's just a kidney stone. It's going to pass. It's no big deal. But unfortunately, this stone did not pass. It created a blockage, and I wasn't able to pass any urine, which obviously is very deadly to the body. And what happened to me was having this stone blocked there and all this urine with it, which I know is a little gross, guys, so I apologize for that. But it created an infection, and the infection actually started going into my bloodstream, which is extremely deadly, and most people don't survive that. So we were actually on vacation in Colorado, and we had gone to the mountains for the day, since there's a lot of things to do up there, and we had gone horseback riding, which was really fun, and I had a great time. And then I started to get into a little bit more pain and start not really feeling good. I started having a fever. And then we were at the Stanley Hotel, which was the hotel that was in the Shining movie, if you guys don't know that. So it's a really haunted and historic sort of place. So we wanted to go there, and I was going to do some tours and some ghost tours and stuff like that. And I started not really feeling good. So my mom was just like, you know what, let's just see if they'll give us a refund, which thankfully they did, even though it did say on our tickets no refunds. They had understood the situation with me being really sick and just wanted to see me go home and get some rest. So as we're coming down the mountains, because there's no hospitals in the area, my mom just said, like, let's go back to where Nana lives, because we were out there seeing family as well as, you know, having fun. Let's go back to where Nana lives, and then we can see the doctor, you know, at the hospital or the clinic there if we need to see somebody. And I'm like, okay. And as we're going down the mountains, I'm starting feeling worse and worse. I'm hyperventilating. I can't breathe. I'm in agony. There's pain all over, and I sort of have this out-of-body experience, which I related with Stephanie, because she sort of has somewhat similar experience with out-of-body experiences and spirit and stuff like that. And I just told my mom, like, we cannot wait another hour and a half until we get to Nana's house. I need to go to the hospital right now. And my mom's like, what makes you think it's like that? Not to be mean, but what makes you think that it's that bad that you need to go to the hospital? And I just remember, like, turning to her and yelling, like, Marianne is telling me I need to get to the hospital right now. This is worse than we think it is, and if I don't get to the hospital now, I'm gonna die. And my mom's like, okay, we'll go to the hospital. So, you know, she starts panicking, thinking, like, what's going on? And also, my sister Marianne had died when I was 10, so plenty of years ago. And she's probably thinking, like, my daughter is just hallucinating. She's telling me my other daughter is talking to her. So I'm sort of having this weird out-of-body experience. And so we get to a police officer who happens to be lining the road because there's a festival nearby. We got lucky. He called an ambulance, which met us at the local fire station. And then I got rushed to the hospital. They told me that my blood pressure was so low, it was 30s over 40s, that they were surprised I was even breathing on my own. My fever was 105. It was 105.4. That's a number I will never forget. They thought that their thermometer was actually broken because my fever was so high, but it just turned out that it was that high because I had an infection really badly going through my bloodstream. So I was rushed to the hospital, and I had emergency surgery to drain the infection and get the stone out of the way that it was blocking. And I spent 7 days, 4 of those in the ICU, and then I spent several more days in the hospital at Longmont Hospital, and I truly thank them for everything that they did for me. They honestly saved my life. And then I had a long journey after that. I had a 3-day car ride home, and then when I got back to Massachusetts, I had another surgery, and then on from there I had several other infections and kidney issues and a few more surgeries and stuff that I'm not going to go into, but I had my own experience, so I really related with Stephanie and her journey, and it sort of brought tears to my eyes with everything that I went through. And I really related with what she says, that after everything that happened, she loves deeper and she cares more about the small things and the little moments, because I definitely feel the same way myself, where I have a greater appreciation for what happened and my loved ones and the people that were honestly there for me and called me when I was in the hospital and asked how I was doing, and all the people that were there for me. So I related with that as well. I've also had some sort of premonition type things happen to myself as well that I won't go into. But if you guys are interested, you can let me know, and I'll always do another video on that. But so she finally starts to get better slowly, and thankfully she had her husband's and her family's support through this journey. And at the end of the book, she sort of seeks therapy to help, but she still feels like she's carrying a burden, so she seeks out a more non-traditional option and has hypnosis performed, and it's sort of at that point just continues with her therapy and sort of more of the stuff that she saw when she flatlined, and more of the out-of-body experiences that she had where her spirit was not in her body, but she still felt and heard everything that happened, and some people who had passed on that had messages for her and stuff like that. But I don't really want to go into all that because I want you guys to read this book so that you still have somewhat of a surprise about what happens. I don't want to tell you guys every detail about it, even though I could probably talk for another 20 minutes about everything that happened in this book and how great it was. But I really enjoyed reading about Stephanie's journey and what she went through, and like I said, I related a lot with all of it, and I definitely would recommend this book, and I hope that you guys read it. And if you guys have any questions or want to learn more about what AFE is, or amniotic fluid embolism, you can head over to Stephanie's site, which is just stephaniearnold.net, www obviously, and then .stephaniearnold.net if you guys want more information about that. She does a lot of stuff it mentions in the book. I haven't actually been to her website yet, but I do plan on checking it out. It mentions that there's some blog posts and stuff that she had posted, and some organizations I guess that she works with, and helping spread the word about AFE and more stuff like that. And also, if you guys are wondering, you can buy this on the Nook for $4.99. It's also available at Target. I saw for $6.99. They have it at Walmart for $18.37, as well as on Amazon and Overstock. Also Barnes & Noble, if you guys have like a Kindle or something, they offer an ebook for $1.99, and the paperback is $18.37. So there's lots of places and options to buy this book. I definitely would recommend it, and I hope that you guys enjoyed hearing about my journey and learning a little bit more about 37 Seconds and Stephanie Arnold. And I do just want to mention, I don't say it in every video, but I did receive this book for free for review purposes, but all thoughts and our opinions are obviously my own and unbiased. I'm not connected with the book or the author or anything like that. There were actually, if you guys want to read, you guys can pause here and read some of the other testimonies and people that have read the book. There was some photos that I can show you guys really quickly. So there's this photo of her and Jonathan, which is her husband, when they were a little bit younger during her first pregnancy when she had her daughter. And then there was a photo near the back of the book of her. Oh, that's not it. There's this photo right here too of a more recent shot of her husband and her and their beautiful children. Just in case you guys are interested in, you know, sort of what she looks like, or, you know, whatever. Thought I would just show you the photos. So I can't really, like, show you guys portions of the book just because copyright issues and everything, but let's see if I can find that photo. And I just saw it, and then now I don't see it. Here you go. Okay, and this is her after she gave birth to her son, and that's her little baby Jacob. So there's just a few photos, and then here is the just bio about what this book was about. And then I also forgot to mention before that she actually took the time out to write a thank you note to me, and it just says, thank you for taking the time out to bring this story into one story into your quiet alone time. These moments are precious, so thank you. And then it just says hashtag sense it say it, which is sort of like a motto for her, and then she signed it for me, which I thought was awesome that she took the time to personally handwrite a thank you message to me and sign this copy of my book. So I thank you, Stephanie, for that, and I really enjoyed reading your story and related a lot with it. So hopefully you guys will check out this book, and like I said, it's available plenty of places. So thanks guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you'll subscribe to my channel. And if you do, I thank you in advance. And as always, if you guys have any questions, you can reach out to me, and or if it's book related, I'm sure you can reach out to Stephanie or someone else to direct, or I'll find someone else to direct your questions to if I can't answer them. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope that you'll subscribe, and I hope you enjoy this video. Bye for now, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.